tell me who you
What's going on, Nerd Squad? I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and if you happen to be new here, we post nerdy content all day long for your viewing enjoyment, so to never miss another exciting video, tap that subscribe button and ring the bell to join our notification squad. Plus, if you stay all the way until the end of this video, we may just have some sweet blooper action for you. Now, just because superheroes share a common goal for good in the world doesn't mean that when they get on each other's nerves, they won't fight it out. Today, we'll be exploring these superheroes that would make for incredible fight matchups if it ever came down to it. Or, you know, why don't we also include some from the comic books as well that we'll just want to see on the big screen. Nice little mix of both for you. Before we get started though, leave us a comment down below with which villains you'd love to see in a fight, and while you ponder that, let's jump right into the top 10 superhero fights we need to see. In at number 10, Shazam vs. Superman. In the movie about Shazam, we had Superman making a surprise entrance at the very end, which would lead many to assume that these two are friends. Well, when it comes to the comic book world, these two have definitely fought on many occasions, mainly because the writers love using someone like Shazam who can hold his own against the Man of Steel. Shazam has a lot to work with. He's strong, fast, tough, he has lightning abilities to rely on, and a ton of stamina. However, with Superman under the yellow sun, he shows a lot more experienced combat, plus he has heat vision to rely on as well. Something that does get overlooked though is that Superman can hear and see much further. When it comes to the type of long range battle these two would inevitably end up in, this becomes a key asset to his arsenal. If there's a yellow sun out, my bet's gonna be on Superman. In at number 9, Captain America vs. Batman. The Dark Knight is a staple of the Justice League for a reason. His detective work along with his wealth and combat skills are his greatest assets. Just like Steve Rogers, he has morals when it comes to dealing with enemies. So it would be interesting to see how a fight between these two justice-driven superheroes would play out. Although the only thing keeping Bruce Wayne in this fight is his gear and technology. Standing alone in a fistfight wouldn't end up well for the billionaire. Captain America has peak human strength, speed, and a vibranium steel alloy shield. If both of them could use weapons during this fight, it would be a pretty even matchup. At the end of the day though, this superhero fight would be more of a battle of wills than strength. In at number 8, Iron Man vs. Cyborg. This one seems like something that we should have seen a long time ago, but that's why it's on this list. A matchup between these two machines would be incredible to see. Iron Man's different suits would no doubt be able to hold their own against Cyborg. I mean, if he was wearing the Hulkbuster armor, it would be tough for Cyborg to land significant strikes. That being said, if Tony ran into an unplanned fight with Victor Stone, he might not be so lucky. Unlike Stark, Victor is infused with his tech and is enhanced by cybernetic weapons. Plus, to make matters worse for Tony, he has the ability to hack into any system, which means Cyborg could just cut off communications with Jarvis and take control of Tony's suit. At that point, he better have a white flag that he's ready to wave. In at number 7, Thor vs. Green Lantern. Next up is the Nordic God versus the Interplanetary Defender. Hal Jordan's greatest strength in this fight will certainly come from his ring. Being able to create weapons or any constructs for that matter out of thin air will definitely come in handy, and certainly has in the past. He has easily overwhelmed Superman level beings in the past with his willpower alone. However, when it comes to Thor, he may have met his match. Thor can toss planets into black holes, and with his hammer at his side, there's no telling what damage that he could serve up to the Green Lantern. If he somehow uses his hammer wisely in this fight, he could absorb any of the Green Lantern's energy attacks and just smash through any of his constructs. No question, Thor would destroy Green Lantern in a fight. In at number 6, Avengers vs. X-Men. This is a very interesting matchup and would be one of the most ultimate superhero team-up fights that we've ever seen. Each side certainly has their strengths and weaknesses, and with Disney acquiring 21st Century Fox, it may only be a matter of time before we actually get to see this play out on the big screen. The Avengers' biggest assets are Thor and Hulk by far, but the X-Men also have some extraordinary and powerful mutants as well. To make matters more confusing, you also have some X-Men that were also Avengers, so this fight could even see defectors and betrayals as well. We think Thor could handle Storm easily, the Hulk could take out Wolverine no problem, and Captain America could subdue Cyclops. I still would say though at the end of the day that the X-Men would win in this fight. They're a team made up of supernatural abilities, where the Avengers has more human-based heroes that would certainly have a difficult time trying to deal with this situation. In at number 5, Captain Marvel vs. Supergirl. Carol Danvers showed us during her solo movie along with her appearances in Endgame that she is an incredibly powerful foe for anyone brave enough to take her on. However, I wouldn't count Supergirl out just yet. She's equally as talented and strong as Superman and therefore has the same abilities as he does, which would be huge in battle. It's been argued that if Captain Marvel can enter into her binary form, then she would overcome Supergirl, although if she could absorb energy from the sun, she could also power herself up as well as deplete Supergirl's powers. That being said, if Supergirl could hold off this binary form long enough, Carol would have to revert back to her normal state, which I would then give the victory to Supergirl. It's definitely a pretty even fight for the most part, but just imagine if Supergirl got a hold of a newly energy drained Danvers. She would laser blast a hole through her chest and it would be pretty much game over for Captain Marvel at that point. In at number 4, Hulk vs. Superman. This fight has actually happened in the comic books, but getting to see it on the screen would be amazing for sure. We haven't had a Superman vs. Hulk fight in a long time, and many have debated this online, with some stating that the Hulk wouldn't just get stronger the angrier that he gets in the fight, and therefore would overpower Clark Kent. When it comes to just fist fighting, sure, the Hulk may land some pretty incredible shots, but at the end of the day, we gotta give this one to Superman. In fact, out of all of their fights together, the Man of Steel comes out on top. Superman can boost himself through solar energy, and strength aside, he's a pretty rational fighter. Clark Kent doesn't normally just charge into a fight, he usually can assess a situation and then take the best approach, something that the Hulk just doesn't do. Plus, if at any point the Hulk reverts back to Bruce Banner, it's game over, man. In at number 3, Spider-Man vs. Nightwing. Nightwing certainly is overlooked when it comes to superheroes. He has peak human strength, he's a trained acrobat and has learned martial arts from the Dark Knight himself. Dick Grayson also has a ton of bad tech at his side. With a reinforced Kevlar suit and his taser baton, Spidey better not get too close. At the end of the day though, Peter Parker has precognitive spider sense, which means landing a strike would be incredibly difficult for Grayson to do. Not to mention, all it would really take to subdue Nightwing would be a couple of web shooters. I mean, Grayson just doesn't have anything close to the reaction time that Spider-Man does. If he gets caught up in a web, it's pretty much over for Nightwing at that point. In at number 2, Quicksilver vs. Flash. While it would be cool to see a race between these two speedsters, we're strictly talking about fights right now. Quicksilver has greater training when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, but he's never had to deal with someone that has a reaction time like Barry Allen. At the end of the day, the Flash is faster, stronger, and can throw friggin' lightning. Although it is his Speed Force that gives him these abilities, so without the Speed Force, my money's on Quicksilver. That being said, it's more likely that the Flash would crush Quicksilver in a fight. He can move much faster than him, and if he needed to, he could slow down time enough to just smash him with a giant lightning punch, and then it's lights out for Quicksilver. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Deadpool vs. Wolverine. This is a superhero fight that deserves its own movie in our opinion. Deadpool has certainly made audiences aware of his obsession with Wolverine, and knowing Logan, he probably is pretty annoyed by this, which could set audiences up for an excellent battle that would be long and really brutal. Both of their healing factors would certainly give each other a lot of trouble, but even though Deadpool is essentially immortal, Wolverine could still best him in a fight. The difference between these two is that Wolverine is infused with adamantium. Plus, Logan just has much more experience with fighting supernatural beings than Deadpool does. If these two ever get into a fight, I'm putting my money on Wolverine, even though Deadpool is my favorite. And he should be yours too. And that has been the top 10 superhero fights that we need to see. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then show us some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on this list. And for more videos like this one, all you gotta do is click that playlist when it pops up on the screen. From Top 10 Nerd, my name is Johnny Rogers, and until we meet again, take care. It's scrolling so slow. I'm not even like reading my script, I'm just like taking points out of it. And is enhanced. Whoopsies. But I still would at the end of the day say that the X-Men would win. But just imagine if Supergirl got a hold of her. Got a hold of a new amazing one letter does do a word. The difference between these two is that Wolverine is infused with adamantium. It's the sound I make when I scroll up. Scroll sounds. Petition to make that the new scroll sound.